I can tell one of these topics got to you guys, a few of you anyways. Going to be talking about the moon landing, but also actually the way that people react about the moon landing is more interesting. But we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. Steph Curry, what a sucker, and other stuff.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys. I want to finish up a story that I didn't do justice last week about this killer father from Colorado. And then I'll do this moon landing stuff that some of you are all up in arms about. And then Suicidal Pete Davidson, Ariana Grande's ex-fiancé.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys. I am James Hake. I am host of The Hake Report. And I'm so tempted to say without Joel and Esteban. And I was talking with Joel last week after the show, and I had talked about this Colorado father. Before I get to this moon landing stuff that some of you are really attacking each other over, I'm going to talk about this father from Colorado who killed, allegedly, I mean, he was convicted. He confessed to it. His wife and 2 daughters. And he pretended like he didn't do it at first. He was talking like, oh, they went missing and all kinds of stuff. But he eventually confessed to it. And in the meantime, before he killed them, he was dating this other girl, this other woman. A married father dating another woman. And this is his mistress here that you're looking at. And she called herself an unwitting mistress. And she thinks that she justified her actions by saying, oh, he told me that they're separated and he's living in the basement of their house. This is just an example of the low moral standards, ethical standards that people today have, where you can get with a married man just because he's separated or something like that. So wrong. But must have been her upbringing or her brainwashing anyways. So this man wrote all of these disgusting, like, love letters. They're not love letters, but that's what they're called, is love letters. And Joel and I were commenting and laughing at how just disgusting they are. They're like, make you want to spit, or yeah, just gross. And I touched on it very briefly because I just got to the end of the show, but I wanted to read a little bit of them. And just to give you a feel, show that letter. That letter is the one that, after that, I was done. Okay, so here's this man, future murderer, is writing a letter to his mistress, whose name is Nikki. Nikki, wow, where do I even start? The first day I saw you, you took my breath away. Joel and I were laughing at that. That's like so unoriginal, and this is why love letters are meant to be kept private. Like, this is even more embarrassing on top of being a murderer, because being a murderer is like so humiliating and embarrassing, I would imagine. Like, that's the worst thing that you can be, basically. But on top of that, you have the humiliation of writing a love letter where you tell the mistress you took my breath away. Anyways, the first day I had the guts to talk to you. Oh my gosh, this guy's 32, 33 years old. This is from July 30th, 2018, by the way. This trial went fast. But he said, the first time I had the guts to talk to you. This is like where Jesse says, don't admit weakness to a woman. He's like admitting all his weakness to this woman. Oh my gosh, he said, I got lost in those stunning green eyes. The first day we hung out in the park together, I knew I was addicted. The first time we kissed, I knew I had something the most What is it? Help me, Joel.
Met. I knew it had met.
Oh, okay. Knew I had met the most, amazing, unique, and electric woman ever. All caps. And he's handwriting this. We have a lot of firsts together, Nikki, and I want to keep having them with you. And then he writes the lyrics to some song, I guess. All night till the sun comes back. I want to love you like that. Love, Chris. Oh, this is so sad. And that's just a warning that, like, love is not love. You know how the gays talk about love is love, and even the straights talk about love is love? It is not love, because this guy went out and killed after this. He was convicted. And this is the thing. So let me move on fast. We'll show a couple of the other letters, but I'm not going to read them. Okay. Wishing you, this is a happy birthday card. I'm going to read it just a little bit, but I just had to stop. It says a year of, I don't know, I can't even read it. You want to read it, Joel, a little bit?
Yeah. Nikki, a year of stuff you love to do and brand new dreams to make come true. One that brings you smiles and laughter and fills your heart with love long after. A million moments day by day. Oh, God. So this is what he writes. This sums up you. Wait, let me see. Let me finish.
Yeah, because that was the card's print, huh?
Right. Yeah. Let me finish reading the card. So the card says that simply take your breath away. Have a birthday as wonderful as you are. He says,
and he's underlining certain words, I think.
Right. He says, this sums you up. Big things will happen this year. Dreams will come true.
Man.
That smile, that something else. Can't even store. I don't even know. That laugh, that giggle in parentheses gets me every time. You are truly amazing, inspirational, and electric woman that takes my breath away, and every time I see you, you are wonderful. Don't ever stop being you. He kept using the same words. He couldn't get more creative.
Right. So that's so. Whoever put this out I think is kind of evil, but it makes for an interesting lesson. I don't know. And then he drew a picture of a heart and all kinds of stuff. And man, some of these love cards are so gross. Like a sigh, a hum, a nuzzle, a tug. Never mind. So that's that guy's. He's in prison for life. So what happened was she started to suspect that he was not forthright with her once she found out that this man who killed his 2 daughters, he actually killed three children because he killed his pregnant wife. His wife was pregnant with a child, and then he started to act like he didn't think it was his, but he was pretty proud of it being his earlier. So who knows what the truth is, but this guy, he made a deal with the prosecutors or something. He made a deal basically that if he gives his full confession or whatever, that they will not pursue the death penalty. And I say that they should have tricked him. Been like, okay, yeah, do this and then we can talk about maybe not giving you the death penalty. And then afterwards it's like, just kidding, you get the death penalty. Because I think that this guy deserves the death penalty, doing that to his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. I just think that's the death penalty offense. Normally, like, murder should be a death penalty. And quickly. That's another problem. I like how fast this thing went through, and I think it's because he got that plea deal. But slow justice is not good justice. It should be swift justice. And the other thing is, like, this guy, it's kind of a warning for everybody because he just let evil stay in his life, something. I don't know what all he was up to in his life, but for sure he was cheating on his wife. And then he got crazy enough to kill over that. So that's a warning. Like, they talk about do not allow evil to remain in your life. That's a good lesson. And a lot of us are going to waste our lives less dramatically than to commit murder. But because it says, wide is the road that leads to destruction, and many are those who enter it or take it or something. And it is just a shady warning. And then the other thing is about this evil thing in America, we're so spoiled that we're allowed to just be mediocre evil, and then thinking we're going to be going to heaven. So the next thing is, let me jump over the moon story and get to another lovesick drama, death type of destruction type of story with, and by the way, you can call in 888-775-3773. But let me talk about this man, Pete Davidson. And I feel like I had heard that name before. It's a familiar sounding name. Maybe I hadn't heard it before. But this man is an SNL comedian. And he made fun of the congressman-elect who has an eye patch over his right eye. That man's name was Dan Crenshaw. And he made this guy, Pete Davidson, who's 25 years old, comedian. Ex-fiancé of Ariana Grande, by the way. He made fun of Dan Crenshaw. He gave his first impressions of these people. Let me just walk you through my introduction, how I came to know about Pete Davidson. So let's go to this clip where here he is a month or so ago, and he gives his first impressions. I think this is before the elections. His first impressions of people who are running for office. And he gets to this man who, Dan Crenshaw. Listen to this. So, people got offended by that. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny, but people got offended by it because you're insulting a war hero or something. And I kind of don't believe that Dan Crenshaw was offended by it. But in any case, there was all this controversy over it. And so they felt that he went too far. And so the next week, which happened to be like veterans, had something to do with veterans or some kind of holiday coming up. So he has him on, Dan Crenshaw joins with Pete Davidson. And this is all on SNL, Saturday Night Live. And so here's Pete Davidson apologizing to Dan Crenshaw. I thought that was cute that they put that story. And the reason so what they did was they acted like Ariana Grande was his ringtone. And Ariana Grande is a singer, pop singer, who dated and was engaged to this man, Davidson. And so I thought that was kind of funny. He was ex-fiancé. And so this guy's been going through a lot of drama. Let's play that last quick part. Okay. And so, did you catch that? This man, Dan Crenshaw, points out that Pete Davidson's father died in 9/11. And I was like, whoa, he said that? And so I looked into it, and sure enough, Pete Davidson, 25 years old, was 7, I guess, when the 9/11 thing happened. And his father was fire department of New York, was seen running up into the Marriott World Trade Center. I didn't know that it was Marriott, but Marriott World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, before they came down. And so Pete Davidson's father died when Pete was like 7. And since then, he's had like a crazy, kind of interesting, tough life. In the sense that he grew up without his dad, and then he got into drugs at a young age, got kind of suicidal at a young age, and pretty talented comedian, I guess. His friends got him high, I think, on marijuana and convinced him to go up on stage because he wanted to be a comedian at age 16 to perform, and so he's been performing ever since. And so he got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which has to do with like esophagus or your guts, something like that. And that was at a young age too. And so, anyways, he is always high on pot pretty much whenever he's performing. That's why he kind of looks like that. He kind of looks like he's off or high or something. And he's recently been kind of suicidal again. And just over this weekend, in fact, he posted some comment on Instagram saying, I feel like I don't want to be on Earth anymore, or something like that. I really don't want to be on this earth anymore. I'm doing my best to stay here for you, but I actually don't know how much longer I can last. All I've ever tried to do is help people. Just remember I told you so, heart. I don't know who he's addressing this to. But anyways, the police, the fans were all concerned, and police checked up on him. The New York Police Department checked up on him. And then he made a brief appearance in Saturday Night Live last night. So anyways, what's up with Ariana Grande? Some of you think that she's pretty. I think she looks like a little girl. But anyways, Ariana Grande has a long list of drama and serious drama and destruction and death. Like, wasn't she dating, what's his name? Mac Miller, the guy who died?
Yep.
Yeah, she was dating Mac Miller, and then she broke up with him, and then he OD'd.
She first dated Big Sean. I don't know if you know Big Sean, rapper.
Yeah, black guy.
Yeah. And then Mac Miller.
Man. And, was it Pete Davidson that got kind of Mac Miller jealous? I don't know. But anyways, like, she broke it off with Pete Davidson. And also, she was performing at a concert overseas, and a Muslim terror attack happened. Like, they started throwing bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, death and destruction everywhere she goes.
And she said in the song that she's dating a woman in the song.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Weird.
And spoiler alert says Ariana Grande darkens her skin. She and that other woman, Miley Cyrus, they seem like children to me. Like it seems like they got sexualized really early, and it's not a good look. So anyways, Pete Davidson, he is a liberal. And I don't know what's up with these. There's a lot of liberals, stars, that are like suicidal and stuff. But it's a mess. We invited him on the show, by the way, but they turned it down. And it was actually just this week, and then all this stuff happened. Maybe we should send him the silent prayer. So let me get to some callers before I get to this moon landing drama controversy thing. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Alex. I'm calling from San Antonio.
Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, James?
Fine, thank you. Have you called before?
I called Jesse's show before, but never the Hake report.
Nice. What's up?
So I wanted to just get your thoughts on what you think makes these liberal men suicidal and just depressed like that in Hollywood.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but for sure, like, liberals tend to be, like, emotional, and this guy is emotional, and he's, like, a wreck. I think it has to do with bad family lives. Like, he even pointed out, like, made a couple of side jokes that he was back living with his mother. And then now I guess he went into rehab, and then he got out of rehab, back to smoking weed, and all kinds of stuff.
So when he was a celebrity, he went back to living with his mother, even though he had the money?
I think so. But
Wow.
he made a joke about it. It's hard to tell if he's serious. But this guy seems like the type of guy that tells the truth in his jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he made a
I
couple
could
of
see
side
him going
comments.
back to his mother for sure.
Yeah, and like, because when he made his apology about Dan Crenshaw, I didn't grab the clip, but you can find it pretty easily. But he said, "My mom, it must suck to be my mother because everybody's mad at your son, and they're mad at your roommate." So it seems to indicate that he's living back with his mother.
Yeah, that's so strange. Yeah, you never hear about conservative men doing this, going through all these suicidal episodes, moving back in with their mother.
Yeah, you don't. Conservatives definitely have their issues. Like a lot of conservatives have issues that they need to get past. But with liberalism, it's like it like amplifies your problems. Seems like. I don't know.
Do you think just because they're so in such a public limelight since they were kids, do you think that makes it worse for them too?
Yeah, I mean, this guy.
With their minds.
It possibly, because this guy really doesn't have a foundation, and so he's like.
What do you mean?
Like he doesn't have a foundation in terms of he doesn't have confidence. Like you look at him, and he's. I don't believe that this guy really has, is solid as a person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he performs on pot. You can tell he's off.
Right.
Like you were saying, he gets high before shows. That's obvious.
Yeah. And some people can perform pretty well high, but a lot of people cannot. And it really sets a bad example, too. Look at that.
And I'm sure he's probably high all day if he performs high, and I'm sure he works.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity, probably in and out all the time. And so he's probably high all day. He probably doesn't even know what it's like not to be high anymore.
And I think suicide is on the rise. And I don't know if this man is full white, but white men have a lot of suicide. It's
I've heard about that.
I think that we're just so pampered in America that people just create drama because they have inner evil working on them, and so they just turn inward and nasty towards themselves.
That's so true. Just 100 years ago, I mean, we were living much worse than we are now. Even the poorest people now live like the richest people 100 years ago, and we're complaining and suicidal and depressed.
Yeah, and it made them. It kind of forced people to be better. I think maybe, I don't know.
Living the harsher life.
Yeah, when you have a harsher life, if it definitely you're less spoiled for sure.
I think so too. And there was no welfare, so you needed to get along with your friends, your neighbors,
Right.
your family back then.
Yeah.
Made you a better person.
Yep.
Well, thanks for your thoughts, James. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Alex. Nice to hear from you.
Sure thing. Bye.
All right, bye. So, by the way, there was this headline, and Jesse's going to cover this probably tomorrow on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, where this priest was giving a eulogy or something about a young man, maybe a teenager, who committed suicide. And this man's parents, this teenager's parents, got mad at the priest and were begging him to stop and stuff like this because the priest is reciting normal Catholic stuff about if you commit suicide, you're going to hell. Basically, I think that's what I've always heard is the Catholic belief, that if you commit suicide, you're going to hell because that's a sin to commit suicide and you're dying in the commission of a sin. So I thought that this was pretty normal stuff, but he said it at a funeral, and for some reason that's bad taste or something. And they're like, "Don't remind me," basically, was what these parents were saying. And so it made the news, it made headlines. I saw it was a Fox News report that this priest was saying that this man may not get into heaven because he committed suicide. And the parents are mad at him about it. But that's his job as a priest, to tell your Catholic ideology. So what did you expect? People are so crazy. But nowadays, like religion, especially Christianity and the more conservative aspects of Catholicism, which is supposed to be Christianity, is totally under attack, where like this normal stuff like homosexuality is wrong and stuff like that is under attack, where like people act shocked to learn that Christians are against suicide and homosexuality. It's so ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So anyway, that's crazy. I mean, it's like, I can understand because you want to not feel bad about the person who's died at a funeral, But you, like Jesse said, you want to hear lies, you go to a funeral, but you want to hear the truth. You don't want to be hearing lies at a funeral. We have to get back to truth. And speaking of lies and truth, there's this big controversy. And it was started by Steph Curry, who is a basketball player, NBA star, and a sucker. As you see from this Newsweek headline, Stephen Curry, after touting moon landing conspiracy theory, Golden State Warriors star chats with NASA astronaut. And right below it, they have a unrelated video, basically, going of these NBA stars, LeBron James and Steph Curry, going after President Trump and hating Trump. And so that's why I call Steph Curry a sucker. The moon landing thing, I don't care. So Steph Curry was on this podcast or radio show, and he's all, hey, guys, you think that the moon landing is real? And somebody said, no. And he's like, yeah, I know it's not real either. And I don't want to start any conspiracy theories. I may be inaccurate in reciting this story, but it's basically the gist of what happened. So he said, I don't want to start any conspiracies. But he sure enough did start some controversy. And like it was on Drudge Report for 2 days. And he was basically forced to apologize or something, or say that he was just kidding. And here's the pictures of the moon landing. So cool. I like these pictures. Awesome. There's I guess that's Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong or somebody standing in front of the moon rover and the moon landing ship thing and the American flag. And like you see the moonscape and it looks like gray. My friend said it's the consistency of talcum powder. It looks kind of dusty, like baby powder, but gray. Anyways, that's such a cool picture. Yeah, that's a picture of Buzz Aldrin, who's 88 years old now, supposedly on the moon. And it's controversial even to say supposedly. I think it's real, but there's a lot. Steph Curry brought all these people out of the woodwork who are saying it's not real, it's obviously fake. I thought everybody knew it was a hoax and all kinds of stuff like that. And so there's been a lot of drama coming out of it. And Steph Curry talked to like a former astronaut or something like that about whatever. And he said that he was just kidding. Who knows if he was kidding or not? Because a lot of blacks are conspiracy theorists. It's not just a white thing. But anyways, so I have heard different people talking about this stuff. And I heard one man ranting about it, saying, and he gave the most convincing argument I had ever heard. He said, how can they communicate over space about, like, from the moon all the way to Earth in a live feed and stuff like that? And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. And so he was asking all these questions. And that was the first time I'd ever heard anything, like, remotely convincing about this moon landing thing. And so all of these people started to turn on this man, though. And so, like, he was getting these people saying, I thought you were better than this. Come on. And they were pulling their donations from him because they support him as a host. And meanwhile, he's getting mad back at them because he doesn't, like, he thought that they were on board with what he's about, which he says is truth. And so they're having this big old argument, getting mad at each other, pulling funds and getting mad about the funds being pulled, all over a disagreement over something that doesn't really particularly matter. What's interesting to me about it is the way that people react to it. And it reminds me of this whole the alt-right thing, the Jew blamers. They think that they know something and they get mad at you, and then you get mad at them for getting mad at you, and then you're just mad at each other and making up stuff about each other. It's kind of like that. There's all kinds of stories just like this that draw out controversy, and people think they're better than you for thinking, the flat earthers too. There's a lot of people who believe that the earth is flat, and they feel that they're enlightened about it. And that's not enlightenment. It's just like knowledge, and it may be false knowledge, and I would not want to be believing something that was not true, but I would just leave it as, I don't know. Earth-Moon communication delay, one way, 384,000 kilometers equals 1.3 seconds, according to Spoiler Alert. That's fast. And then there's all these people in my comments saying the Earth is flat, and we never went to the moon. And then there's the other people saying, you guys are crazy. We did go to the moon. There was one guy, before my show even started, they said his father worked at JPL, which is Jet Propulsion Laboratory out in Pasadena area, or Altadena, over in California, just east of LA. And he said, I held moon rocks. And then all these people are like, beta? So that's nuts. Yeah, don't be getting mad at each other, and don't be getting all puffed up on your knowledge or false knowledge or whatever, your conspiracy theories. And conspiracy theories, I don't necessarily even mean that diminutively. I don't mean that in the sense that you're not allowed to believe that there's a conspiracy, because there's conspiracies going on all the time. But I'm just saying that it's a conspiracy theory, and don't be getting all mad. The moon is made of cheese, and the Bible is flat. So, yeah, there you have it, guys. So you can call in 888-775-3773. It's crazy. You know what, by the way, about this Pete Davidson thing? He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And, he's not the... You know who else was diagnosed with this mental illness stuff was Kanye West, and he kind of defended Kanye against Ariana Grande. And there's this push, there's this defense of mental illness, and neither one of those people are right either. It's this whole knowledge thing, like, I know about mental illness, we need to raise awareness about mental illness, and we need to take away the stigma of being mentally ill and all that stuff. No. That's not the right way to go. Like, these people are it's just so worldly. You know what I mean? The spirit is more important, you know? Anyways. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Robert, and I'm in Kansas.
Hey, Robert. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, I really enjoy the show. Thank you and Jesse for all that you do, and everybody else. I wanted to ask you about the whole flat Earth controversy.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked into it yourself? Like, actually went out and tried to disprove or prove whatever your belief is?
No, I haven't. I've seen like illustrations of the flat Earth thing. I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. But that's about as far as it went.
That the church does do that they go out and look for themselves, and that really should kind of settle it for people. If they go out, they get a telescope, and you can point it at the horizon, or you can also just watch the sky or get up in a plane or on a mountain, things like that. And you can do your own observations and come to your own conclusions based on the mathematics given by NASA. And if you come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat, well, let's just say I wouldn't be surprised.
Interesting. Yeah, to be honest, I'm really not that interested. Like, what does it matter? Because people who are...
moon, and stars, if everything revolves around us, isn't that pretty interesting compared to being a random accident floating in space, and we come from monkeys, and this whole, basically the lie we're taught. The flat Earth, if it turns out that, let's say, you discover that the Earth is probably flat, wouldn't that change your perspective in from basically almost the ground up, to realize that you're lied to, and to that degree from childhood? I mean, I think it's the biggest conspiracy that there is to conceal and to hide the reality that we exist in. What we are really on.
But to me, it's so shallow of a thing, because the flat Earth people think that they're enlightened. This is my whole argument. They think that they're enlightened, and their lives are still messed up. You know what I mean? Like, it's more important to get your life right, and these people, you know what I mean? It's more important to get the... What?
Yeah, to find peace. Yeah, certainly, I agree, Hake. And I would just suggest that anyone who is questioning that thing you could go out and look for yourself, and you can get a P900, P1000. Those cameras are really nice, and you can, you can find out that, oh yeah, there's the curve right there, or you'll find out that water there's no convexity to water. You will never see it. And I like to use water as a level. I've done a lot of my own experiments, a lot of my own observations. And I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was insane. And then you look into it, and you're like, wow, you're trying to disprove these flat Earth people, and it becomes, well, that's kind of the journey, I guess. But yeah, thanks for what you do, Hake, and have a good show, man. I'll see you.
All right, I appreciate it, Robert. Man, so many people are believing this stuff. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, James, this is Chuck from Arkansas.
Hey, Chuck, good to hear from you. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, man. I just want to make a comment about the whole flat Earth thing again.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, I've looked at a lot of different documentaries, but one thing that I came up with myself is the idea of satellites. And there's some things that make me kind of confused about it. Like, for example, when you see a picture of the Earth, you don't really see all of the other satellites that are supposed to be floating around there. And my logic and my thought behind it is, I've never seen a machine that doesn't take constant maintenance or an upgrade. And so who goes up and upgrades the satellite technology? Like, if you had a computer from 20 years ago, it will not work today.
I don't know. Some of them work.
Well,
I have a 30-year-old computer that works.
Man, I don't. I can't keep one that long. But my thing is, like, the technology has changed over the past 5 years. And how can a satellite with old technology still communicate back and forth with new devices? And
I
so
don't know.
My thing was,
it's pretty. I would think it's pretty common. They're made to last like that. It's not particularly. I don't know. It's not particularly complicated, I don't think. I think they just set it and it goes and then whatever.
But like my idea is that things break. And I'm like, did they
break,
satellite that
but
never
they
break?
break with something interfering. Usually it breaks when like you mess with it.
Yeah.
And nobody's messing with it.
And the second thing is, why is it that Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving just can't believe what they want to believe?
Yeah.
Why did NASA have to communicate with him just for having a different thought than what he's supposed to have?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, let him have his conspiracy theory. They allow these blacks to have their racism conspiracy theory, which is far more destructive.
Exactly.
Far more destructive. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, why is it such a big deal? Like, I mean, they had to go and give him a rock to prove it.
Yeah.
Here's a piece of a rock, man. I can go find a rock that looks just like that outside, man. And here, I found this moon rock. What do you think about this? But it's weird to me how these people like Kyrie Irving, he also said that he believed in flat Earth, and they have to go back within less than a week and apologize for what they believe. And say, no, I was just playing. But I think that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's funny.
That's really all I had.
I appreciate it, Chuck. Nice to hear from you.
All right, man.
All right.
Care.
You too. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, James, this is Skip. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. I'm not going to go off on nobody, all right? I promise.
All right. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. Look, it's not that big of a deal. I agree with both the callers, and I agree with you. The most important thing is our spirit and being right with God and Jesus Christ. I agree with that first and foremost. But it is good to know the truth about things. And I don't expect me or you or anybody to believe anybody else, but go out and do the experiment yourself. Go out and do the research yourself and find out these things. And if you find out that something is different than what you always believed, so what? You know it for yourself. It's not to go out and prove to someone else. I don't ride up and down the roads with the windows down saying the earth is flat and we've never been to the moon, but I believe that.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel that there's like better ways to spend your time, you know what I mean?
Well,
This is like
yeah,
people get sucked into
guess.
this stuff, and it's so meaningless.
Well, I don't know about so meaningless. Why, once you find out the truth about something and you realize you're being lied to the whole time, why are they lying to you to begin with?
But both sides think that they have the truth.
Well, what is the truth, James?
The truth is, that whole thing is a distraction.
Okay.
That's what I say. Anyways, I appreciate it, Skip.
I'm enjoying your show as
Thank
always,
you.
and keep up the good work, James.
All right, take care.
All right.
Yeah. Is your father's a flat earther, right? Oh, I just...
Yeah, he thinks it's flat, too. He's into all that chemtrails in the air and all that stuff. It has no... The results, to me, it's just like the results have no benefit.
Yeah.
If you find out what it is, what does that mean?
Right.
Like, it still doesn't change anything, so it's like...
It doesn't benefit your life.
Right.
It just makes you seem crazy.
Right.
Even like if I'm reciting true stuff, like if I were to go off about like black crime that I've looked into, and like any type of knowledge, like I've said before, is just a poison.
Right. And then now your ego feels good about it, but then that fades too, and it's like, okay, now we got to get back to my life being crap.
Right.
So.
So does he believe the moon landing was faked?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it.
But
I don't even like asking because I know
because
be a
you don't need
thing.
to be bringing it up. But like these people get so mad towards each other about it. Like whether you believe it is or isn't.
Right.
Like it's really irrelevant in my opinion. We all know that the government lies, and we all know that that we need to get ourselves together.
Right.
So, anyways, thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Jacob, and I'm calling from Oregon.
Oregon. Nice to hear from you, Jacob.
Yep.
What's up?
I was going to ask you what you think about these mega churches.
Oh, interesting. Such as, like, name one or two.
Apparently, there's someone that spent like $200K on his wife's car or something.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are about mega churches.
I mean, I've never really been to one, and I look at the individuals themselves really, like the pastors. Most of the pastors of these mega churches seem like soft, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, but most pastors, period, in all honesty, seem soft. And
do you think some of them are kind of like influenced by like money and stuff? And
they might be. It's hard to say because you don't know what drives the man within them. You know, it's not if they're not talking about it, then you really don't know. Because like some people are just naturally driven, naturally successful people, and how can you hold that against them? And like even the $200,000 car, like that's kind of shocking, but it's like I don't care.
Billions of dollars, I don't know.
What's that?
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate it, Jacob.
Yep. Goodbye.
All right. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, James, it's Esteban in Arizona.
Hey, Esteban, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm a first-time caller. It's the first time I've called your show.
Right on. That's cool.
And I'm sorry. I'm kind of sorry it has to be on this subject, but, you know, the flat Earth and the moon landing stuff?
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I mean, no, I agree completely with Skip that, you know, it's your spirit. We got to focus on that stuff. But I see it like this, James. As an adult, it really doesn't matter whether it's flat or whether we went to the moon or not. But what I think when it matters is as a child, because it's the setup. It's getting you to believe into something that society wants you to believe into, so then they can set you up later with other beliefs. So, I mean, as a kid, I think you should just be open-minded and not just believe what you hear from all teachers. That's what I tell my kids. I say, teachers, they lie to you. They don't always tell you the truth because they're telling you what they believe.
Yeah.
And it might not always be the truth. So I think, for younger kids, it's better to just not definitively tell them this is what happened. This is how it is. And this, you know what I mean? Because they just believe. They don't, and then they get set up to believe into more lies. And now I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon or the earth is flat, but, there is evidence that, you go around, you see it, and you're like, that's interesting. But like you said, I don't get all into it.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are not going to care about that particular lie. I mean, it's the same thing as like Santa Claus, in my opinion. Like they really don't care about that. I mean, the more destructive lie is like homosexuality and stuff like that they're teaching kids now. And like,
but I have a son, Augustine. You met him.
Yeah.
At the father's event, and he's a real smart kid, man. And he's on the internet and he sees these things, and so he was in class talking to his teacher about it, and man, the teacher gave him a detention because he wouldn't shut up about it. And he goes, well, what about this and what about that? And kept questioning the teacher, and then the teacher thought like I was like this. I didn't believe in the moon landing or something. I was like, no, dude, that's just the way he is.
Right.
He's not gonna believe you just because you say it.
Yeah, that's nice.
So. It was hilarious.
That is funny. Why should he get unless he's being disrespectful or something? Like, I don't think he should have gotten detention for asking questions.
No, and that's what the detention was for. They said he was being disrespectful.
Okay.
But he's kind of like me. He's real strong-headed.
Right.
And he just, and he just keeps going. And he loves to debate. He does it to me too. He tells me I'm wrong about this, I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean...
But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because, we got to really be careful. I know all this stuff going on is destroying the fabric of our family and everything. But, there's just... And I think that there's different types of lies because, like me and you, they can tell us about the moon landing. We're not going to get all crazy. But there's certain people that have this personality that they just become, like Alex Jones, They just dive into it and just... it's just crazy. It's just, just back up a little bit, have an opinion about it, but don't make it your life.
I don't even know if you should even have an opinion about it because, like, most of the time, like, there's even the stuff that you think you're not really considering everything.
Yeah, that's true. Because that was one of the big things I learned from Jesse when he told me. He said, you have to watch yourself because you say a lot of things that aren't even true. And I noticed that just in my daily life, I'll embellish things to make someone look better, to make me look better. You know what I mean? And if you watch yourself the way you talk, you're not always telling the truth. You got to watch yourself because it's almost like human nature to embellish.
Yeah, that's it. And then people jump to conclusions like I said, the judgments that they create out of this disagreement, then that they're crazy. Because of the way that they act, and the crazy things they make up about you for disagreeing with them, both both sides kind of.
Yeah, when you disagree with someone and they think that they have it, you automatically know what's going on the way they react to you. Because if they get all angry, there's something going on. But if they can listen to you and then just be like, okay, well, this is what I think. That's what you think.
Yeah, they get passionate about it. Thank you, Esteban.
Oh, yeah. Watch out for passion.
Appreciate it, Esteban. Right, nice to hear from you. All right.
All right.
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello.
Hello, how are you?
All right. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Stephen Harrison calling from Los Angeles. How are you today?
Stephen from L.A. Fine, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I like what you got going on. You have a really good show. And I think the topics that you guys are talking about are very, very interesting. I was going to say is in regards to beliefs, like I know I was looking in the chat and people talking about flat earth and different things. And I'm a part of a few flat earth groups and different things. And I'm more of a geocentric. And I say that just because I think that I just never believed that we lived on a spinning ball.
So geocentric means that you believe that the Earth is the center of everything?
So everything revolves around us. But I don't think that anybody can really prove anything. So I was disappointed at Steph Curry that he felt that he had to apologize. I don't think you can prove anything, really. It's just like me saying, prove there's a God. You know what I mean? It's only, everything is a belief.
It kind of is, because like the government does lie to us so much, and so like when they show these pictures and things, it's so cool and like, but it's this unknowable stuff that people really, I believe that evil and the children of the lie and all them really thrive on. It's kind of like it's impossible to know about climate change. It's impossible to witness evolution. It's impossible to know about all this other stuff. So like they thrive on the doubt, because this is stuff that's unknowable and really shouldn't even be concerning yourself with, I believe. And
yeah, I agree.
So then
what I was going to say is I think people should just be free to think what they want to think and just leave it at that instead of people being just ridiculed.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing.
I'm okay with ridicule. Ridicule is funny. I'm okay with the ridicule. But I'm not okay with forced apologies. But he didn't have to apologize. He could have just stood his ground, but he did.
Right.
But
I think there's an attack on free thought.
There is.
And that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
And so now you can't even think about something anymore or have an opinion without being attacked. And I think I watch your show, Jesse's show. I think it's pretty good. Sometimes some of the stuff, I kind of wonder about it. I have to call and talk to him, because some of the stuff that he says, sometimes I'm like, but for the most part, he's okay.
What's an example of one thing that you're like, with him?
I think he can. I do think that, because I'm African American as well, and I think that he does seem to have I think he's too rough on the people, and it seems like he does, even though he says not all, but most. I think he really means all.
Interesting.
And I'm like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
But that's
so sometimes I wonder if he's trolling.
That's interesting about how rough he is. I think he's becoming kind of more like Trump. And I believe that in like a good sense. Not like he's trying to imitate Trump, just that he's becoming more like take no mess. And it forces people to make a decision. It forces people not to be wishy-washy. And it forces you to really know what you think and how you are, because it really brings out, if you have any evil in you, it'll bring it out. He was talking with with this guy Russ from Hampton, Virginia, this week, who was a regular caller to my show, and what he brought out of Russ was like nuts. And Russ is called back cussing at me, and so like, if you have any evil in you, then Trump will bring it out of you, or Jesse will. So I kind of appreciate. It's like a love-hate relationship with that roughness.
Well, he's not as bad as Pastor Manning. I don't know if you ever remember Pastor Manning from back in the day.
I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
You like Jesse better? Jesse's very likable still.
He's a little more easier. Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a little more not as out there, but I'm sure they both would get along. I think a show with the two of them would be pretty cool if they haven't had one together already.
I think they've already had one. Yeah.
Oh, they did? Oh, then I have to go back. I must have missed that one.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, Steven. Yeah.
No problem at all. Definitely good talking to you. I was going to say one more last thing.
You should come out to church sometime.
I'm not a religious person, but I do. But the longer I live, the more I realize what I don't know, and I'm cool with that. I don't have to know everything, and I think a lot of times when, and that's the thing that I hate the word conspiracy theory, because sometimes people want to know things, and because they don't trust the government. And for a good reason, sometimes people have their own theories. But what I was going to say is that with the flat earth thing, it's made a lot of people, I think, that weren't religious before start looking more into religion. And so you might want to look at that for somebody, I think, that, I don't know if religious is the right term to use or not, but maybe spiritual, or you're a follower of Christ or whatever.
Right. No, I got you.
And so I've noticed that there's a lot of, with the flat earth thing, there's a lot of religious aspects in it. And so a lot of the people that are in there are against science, which I think science is okay, but as far as like the Big Bang Theory and evolution, I don't know if there's really solid proof. Evidence isn't really proof. Just like if you show me some moon rocks, I don't know where you would have got those from. And I don't know how I'd be able to compare them to something else. You know what I mean? So
I got you, Steven.
All right, so I'll let you go, but it's definitely great talking to you.
You as well. Take care, Steven. And catch church.
You too.
Catch church on Bond Rebuilding the Man if you don't already.
Okay, then I'll definitely look into that.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Going to try to run through these calls.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, come off of your speakerphone or whatever you are. Well, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Get your phone right. Get your phone right. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey.
Yes, you.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
You too. Who's this?
Oh, James Hake. My name is Majesty.
Oh, hey, Majesty. Nice to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you, too. I just wanted to comment on all the beta males with the flat earth. What is this about? These guys are like Eve in the garden talking to the serpent.
Interesting. Like they're seeking after knowledge or something?
It's like the tree of good and bad.
They're taking after the knowledge. They're seeking after the tree of knowledge.
Yeah, so they don't have to answer to God. That's all it comes down to.
That's what the flat Earth believes.
That's what it comes down to.
So the people
who believe, most of these people, they probably don't believe in religion. I mean, not religion, but God. God.
I don't know. A lot
religion.
of them, the majority of the flat Earth people that I've come across, they also claim to believe in God. Believe it or not, but I mean, a lot of people think that they believe in God or claim to believe in God, but they really don't. We all know that. So yeah, I don't know, but you might be right even still. They don't. I don't believe that most flat earthers are atheists.
I don't believe they're atheists, but I believe it's just a distraction, not to deal with God, how he created the universe the way it is. If you have so many reports showing that the earth is round, it's a biosphere, it's not flat, you want to go back on what has already been discovered. And it's just like God telling them not to eat from this tree. Well, telling Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree. And then, they just get the whisper going in their ears and it's like, maybe it is flat. And it's just
That's an interesting point.
It's like, where's your spirit? Where's your spirit has to be where you're caught up on the earth being flat. There's like so many more important things going on in the world. Like, that's an endless conversation. It leads into the abyss. And I just think if they can gravitate onto that, they would just go to saying, well, does God even exist? It's from the tree of good and bad. You want to bring those thoughts into captivity.
Yeah.
It's already been talked about. What else can it do for the world to know if it's round or flat? It's not going to change anything.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's a mess. People are hung up on their knowledge. Just crazy. You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the serpent was telling her, "Oh, if you eat from this tree, you won't surely die." But she was never told about eternal life. So it's like you worry about things that shouldn't even be in your mind.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But on the brighter side.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go see my father after 18 years.
Wow. Where is he?
Yes. I want to thank you and Jesse for that, especially you for taking my call that day.
Nice.
And just, bearing down with me while I had bad service. But, man, it was amazing. Talking to him, we talk every day since I reconnected with him. I think it's been like 3 weeks, going on to a month. He calls me every morning. He texts me. It's been an amazing year, and I want to tell Jesse about this because, I got to give him the full scoop on how everything transpired, but I just want to thank you guys for that. That was the greatest Christmas gift you guys could ever give me.
That's cool, man. So you've been in touch with him, but you haven't seen him yet, so you're going to go see him.
Yes, I have not seen him. I'm going to see him this week. I'm leaving this week, Friday, to go to Connecticut to go check him out.
Nice. Wow, good luck.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Thank you. I'm happy. He welcomed me with open arms. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
That's good. Yeah.
And it's crazy. We're so identical.
That's funny. Yeah, for the people watching or listening, you can find Majesty, Majahsty. Your father named you after that because your father at the time was Rastafarian. So Jah is their word for God. And so he kept that name.
Let me tell you this, James. I don't mean to cut you off, brother.
We have your first call, or maybe 2 calls on the YouTube that you can catch. Just telling the people. Yeah. Anyway,
but he
go
told
on.
me why he named me that. He said that the Jah in the middle, it means like Jah is like a abbreviation for Jehovah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like God. So he's named me Majesty, so I can be seen as a God in a sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing too. I thought that was fire. But yeah, when he told me that, like my whole life changed. My life has been getting even more better. And, you know, I have great direction now. I see clearly. It's amazing. Jesse was right. I'm telling you guys. He was right. When you reconnect with your father, it's like a light unto your feet. Because I think that's just God coming back into your life as well. You know.
Yeah.
Taking all that pain away. But it was easy. I forgave him. I told him, you know, he was weak at the time. But I didn't really feel like I had to forgive him. I just told him I felt like he was weak. And he accepted it. I didn't really say, I forgive you for this. Because he was just saying how sorry he was for not being there. He came off so, compassionate. My mother's not like that. My mother don't say sorry for nothing. So I just feel like, I got the right parent in my life now.
That's cool. Right on, Majesty.
Yeah, I don't mean to take up all your time.
No, you're good. All right, appreciate it. Nice to hear from you.
Those flat earthers up.
Yeah, you make a good point about that tree of knowledge thing. All right, take care, Majesty.
You too, brother. Have a good one.
All right, bye. Well, that's it. Callers, I'm sorry I can't get to you, but that's it for the show. Make sure you go to Bond Rebuilding the Man, subscribe to Bond Rebuilding the Man, the YouTube channel, and go to rebuildingtheman.com/church, rebuildingtheman.com/church to support Bond and get the silent prayer that Jesse recommends, and watch church in 1 hour at 11 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. It's church every Sunday. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yeah.